Got 13,669.42 in net profit on 56 trades, four of which were unprofitable. 92.86% win rate. 69,420. Show off. Yeah, I know. How many lots per trade? I've been averaging up. So it started with $250, so I was on MNQ. And then I averaged MNQ up to like five, and then switched over to ES. ES one, two, starting to get close to three at a time. Mid, yeah, I know. I picked up like a little bit on the cash account too, couple grand. But anyway, end of day shit. Yeah, no day trade restriction. I'm not trading minis. I'm trading ES now. But there's no day trade restriction on either one. I do have a strangle for tomorrow. 5580 though. I entered it earlier. Alright, so looks like we opened the day right where I said we would and closed the day exactly where I said we would. I don't really know if there's much more I need to add to that. But I do think that tomorrow, barring really bad Jolts prints or something, we'll probably see bulls try to continue to push up and maybe get to a point of mean reversion before the tariff announcement. So, I'm probably looking at like GN on the monthly for that. So still some upside. Be aware of that. Here, I will say that the 5673 rejection was not a very good look. It does give us a head and shoulders out here on the 15 minute on ES. If we slip the like prior week close at 5624 in the overnight session, that would be quite bad. NQ still closed the day down. So tech is not keeping up with this pump at all. Russell also down on the day, but Dow and ES recovered pretty well. Yields still moving down at the top end, but the short end came up a little bit post auction. I think that might have helped with leverage, like overall leverage a little bit. Commodities, gold still moving. Looks like silver down a little bit on the day. Copper, big pump in oil today. Oil moving up 3%, back above 70, which is pretty significant and also inflationary. So we'll see how long it holds there. Still a lot of like geopolitical volatility right now. So oil prices, I don't think are going to stay very steady for very long at any level. So correlation moving down from pretty much first thing this morning, a little bit of re-entry into the dispersion trade after that broke down Thursday and Friday of last week. Definitely not a lower low on this. So, I mean, very, very possible that we see correlation continue to break down later this week. But a little bit of a push there. Leverage came up today, kind of failed into the end of the day on that pump, but leverage on the short end stayed elevated, moving from 6.87 and 6.95. Doesn't seem like they're giving up too much of that. And that did help bring the forward yield on volatility down a little bit. But it did remain positive into close at 5.37%. Bond vol probably picked up today. There's a big dump in yields this morning, and that's, even though that recovered, yield's still coming down. So we'll probably start to see move tick back up alongside the spike that we've seen in correlation on the 3 month. I'd expect that's going to be getting pretty close to 100 soon. Skew fell on Friday again. So still a lot of out of the money put demand. I'm really not sure that today's price action is going to change that very much. But we did close just above delta neutral, so that does help the bulls a little bit going into tomorrow. Breadth will have recovered on this a tiny bit, but I still think that probably not too much of a turnaround as far as getting over their 20-day moving averages here on the S&P. Fed fund futures ticked up, now pricing in almost 2 rate cuts by September, and the bear steepener came down just a little. forward yield, about a 60-point spread between the 10-year and the S&P earnings yields. So out here on the technicals, we have a double bottom. This is not a double bottom reversal yet, and our second bottom is in fact lower. So the propensity for this to continue down to the 5400 test is still very high. But we may have more of this bounce left before we get a rejection. I would say that this is still very much a bear rally from today's low, and I wouldn't really be convinced of a turnaround unless we get out above like the 200 MA again. And frankly, even just testing that's not going to be enough. Like we really need to break above it. We need to get back above like 57.73 and the January low. So to really start to pick up like systematic buyers and stuff. And so, I mean, this is still weak, and the fact that we were not able to close near the high of the day was also really not a great sign. So still a little bit of pump left, but I wouldn't trust it to keep moving up. Not yet. Anyway, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope everybody made a shitload of money today. If you didn't, get good. And I will see you all bright and early tomorrow. Later.